Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and it's my pleasure to welcome singer, songwriter, bon vivant, musician River Glen to the show for the very first time. River is Iowa-based, but you're on the road. Matter of fact, you're on the road a lot. And where are we talking to you from today?
I'm coming to you from Albany, New York, from the state capital. Hello,
Oh,
everyone.
wow. Okay. And how long is this leg of the tour that you've been out for?
That is one of the trickiest parts of telling the story of what I'm doing, which is that I'm on the road full time. I have been for just a little over 2 years now. And I am very privileged, as I was telling you before we started the broadcast, that I have inherited a network through growing up in a family band. And I've been making music since I was a kid. So I've got a very strong network across the country. I travel from family member to family member, booking shows in between. And at this point, it's about as many gigs as I can book with all the responsibilities and the driving and the performance itself. I'm a bit maxed out, but I am working my way back to the Midwest. I'll be in Syracuse tomorrow and then Buffalo the following day. But I'm excited, as I always am, to go home again and see my people and look forward to this show in Iowa City.
And that, of course, is why we're talking today, is you're going to be appearing on the 24th of October as a part of the Natural Talent the One World Series by Creighton Gaynor and his Natural Talent organization. And I think we're 3 for 3. I think I've had a chance to chat with just about everybody that's been coming in for this iteration of the Natural Talent One World Fest. For those who haven't seen you before, tell me a little bit about growing up in music.
Sure. I have been riding the laurels of my childhood for many years now. I grew up in a family band based out of Dubuque called the One Hat Band. My dad played guitar, my mom played the upright bass. And when they started having kids, they started putting us into music education, primarily through the Suzuki method on violin. And I'm the fourth of 5 children. So eventually it was 7-piece band plus boyfriends, girlfriends, partners of the kids. And it grew and fluctuated over the years, but it stayed roughly about a 7-8 person group. And we were how do I want to say? We were a crowd favorite, but in part because we were a rambunctious group. We grew up as buskers, street performers, it means it's a little circus performance at the same time as music. And that provided for me a deeply instilled sense of being an entertainer, about putting on a show. Because quite honestly, and it's easy to say from this position looking back, there were many years where we were not very good as a family band. But our passion and our love for it drove us. We had moments of it being good, technically speaking. It was always adorable. It was always fun. But we got those early years in following the passion for just putting on a good show for people and connecting. And that is the foundation that I've carried forward through the exploration of my own original music. I think it was about 14, 15 years old in high school when I got inspired seeing other people in bands and was like, I got to start my own band. And that was what was the beginning of River and the Tributaries. And so I was in that band for a couple of years, which is what brought me to Iowa City in the first place when I became a student at the University of Iowa. And as so many young groups do, you have that love and that passion in those college years, and it's deep and intense, and then everyone gets flung off to different places around the country, around the world. So that band ended, and probably a year or so afterwards, I started performing under my first and middle name. So River Glen is my name. And that kind of offered that opportunity to really get into what is the storytelling that I'm doing and what is the purpose of my music. And that's where we are today, where I'm coming back as River and his band. We're bringing my original folk pop music, and it's stacked with wonderful musicians in the band, but really the effort is about the storytelling and the lyricism. And all in all, what am I, 36 years old. I've been performing for about 33 of those years, 32, 33 of those years. And I love it more than ever. So I'm excited to come back and be in the room with folks and show them not only where I'm at in my songwriting, where I'm at in the arrangements and performance as a band, but again, at the heart of it is that entertainment, hosting a moment, sharing some magic with a live audience, because once again, encouraging folks to be out at shows. I remind you, the audience is the rest of the performance. You are needed, you are wanted, and you are loved. And we hope to see you there on October 24th at the James.
The saying goes that you have to have 10,000 hours of being bad before you have a chance of being good. You got your 10,000 hours in before puberty even, sounds like.
Yeah. That becomes part of the joke. I say that often too. Of I grew up in a family band, and I don't recommend doing that because it comes at a cost, and as it should. Anything in life. I am so privileged to have grown up in music, grown up in performance, and every day the adventure continues, and it's big highs and big lows. I try to be honest with folks. Sometimes it's really good. A lot of the time, it's really hard. And folks, I think, understand that it's tough to be a musician these days.
Since you're pretty much living on the road, I'm guessing that you aren't able to take the whole band with you everywhere you go. What does the touring setup look like?
I am rolling around in a Ford Transit Connect with packed all my belongings in there, a little trifold mattress. I'm doing pretty well. One of the brags, a little like not doing too bad, is I have slept in the van 4 times in the last 2 years, and they were all on purpose. There was never a whoops. So that speaks to the volume of the network and family and friends and supporters I have. The majority of my performances solo. That is how I cobble together a living. That's everything from coffee shops to breweries to ticketed performances in places where I have more of a strong following. Sometimes I can take someone with me in my van, but primarily it is me solo. And since my bandmates are still based in Iowa, we do most of our work together in Iowa or a distance that we can drive that makes sense. And I'm always the most excited when I get to play shows with my band. So this show on October 24th at the James with the band I'm just giddy about it. I'm working on the set list. I'm getting ready for it. And I hope folks will be there in numbers to hear what we got.
Speaking of that band, it is made up largely of people that we know, good friends of KCCK, multiple guests from this show and multiple appearances on our radio station. So for those who may not be familiar, run down the list of personnel.
My standard band, the friends who I'm so deeply in love with, and we're bonded on that. I've hired a lot of musicians in my days, but I've not been a band with nearly all of them. This is my band. I'll start from the bottom up. This is the reverse order of how I usually list them. On drums, LeDuc Justin is just my favorite drummer. He has a gentle delicateness to his drumming, but he's so good it creates a gravity to it. It's hard to follow that guy. It's hard to work with other drummers, I gotta say. He makes it hard. On bass, Blake Shaw, who has been a guest, I understand, a number of times, so folks are probably familiar with him. We have Dan Padley on guitar, who sadly will not be joining us for this performance as he will be taken on the road with Deb Talon. So he'll be doing some touring. He is usually playing with us. So we're working on a last minute little substitution for him. And then my partner in crime, my singing partner, Megan Elizabeth, who is a friend that I went to high school with in Dubuque. To folks who've not heard this band, the vocals, one could only aspire to have a singing partner as I do in Megan, because she's in the uncanny valley zone of she can move with me. She can harmonize with me through all the rhythms, all the expressions. She's a mimic, and it's to the point of being a little, like I said, creepy, like uncanny. She's so good at it. And she provides that tingle in your arms. I set them up. I write the songs. I've got the storytelling in there. And then my players are what just gives you all that. Whew.
I agree. In listening through to some of your music prior to the interview, I was really struck. Obviously, it's a great band. We know them all and have heard them all so many times over the years. But I was particularly struck by the interplay between you and Megan, because it's not just, oh, she's the backup vocalist. You use the term partner, and that's very much, it's not quite a duo, but much more than lead and backup vocal, definitely.
Yeah, and that is how I choose to run my band, is that they are each invited into the song to do what they deem to be the appropriate contribution. I don't I don't choose to have control of it in that way. We do have discussions as a band to produce the songs and to make the argument about what the groove is, where the pocket is, who's doing what. But generally speaking, I'm looking for that sort of blissful sense of each person's expression. That means that we don't perform the songs the same every time. They have a roadmap, but I'm often encouraging my players to know the roadmap so that in real time in front of an audience, we can choose to deviate from that plan and deconstruct it and play with it.
River Glen will be performing as a part of the Natural Talent Music Festival One World on October 24th at the James Theater. And you've got a great partner act too, Calle Sur, which is the duo of Ed East, founder of the salsa band Orquesta Alto Maiz, and his longtime musical partner, Karin Stein. This band performs and does a lot of educational workshops all over the Midwest, but then also performs out too. So this is a pretty great 1-2 punch that Creighton has put together.
Agreed. I think for encouraging listeners, encouraging folks around Iowa City to come to the show at the James on October 24th is not only for original music from Iowa, but that Calle Sur, they're bringing traditional folk music from Panama, Colombia. It's that you're going to get a bit of musical education. You're going to get a cultured experience in that regard. So really want folks to come and support them as well.
Tickets available from the James website, which is thejamesic.com. River, if people want to follow your adventures through social media or listen to some of your releases, how best to do that?
Of course, across the internet, River Glen Music. My website is riverglenmusic.com, as folks can see, Glen with one N, and across social media at River Glen Music. I am releasing most of my stuff through Bandcamp these days.
River, Megan, Blake, and Justin, and a guitarist to be named later, performing October 24th at the James Theater as a part of the One World Festival. River, it's been great getting to know you a little bit and hearing about your life and your music, and we're looking forward to the show.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here.
You can hear The Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.